What is up, guys? Team Yugi Fish here with another deck profile. I know typically I upload a video like every probably like 3 to 4 days. The last week, obviously, with it being the holidays, has just been crazy. So the upload time was not there. I did not have any time on my hands to do any kind of recording. I was just super busy. And typically around the holidays, I have some sort of like weird event that happens that, for whatever reason, just like takes up all my time or brings me down, one or the other. So I've been really busy, but today I am posting a deck list for Salaman Great. I haven't posted a Salaman Great deck list in a while. It's probably been close to 6 months. And this is a deck that, if anyone knows, I've had a very strong amount of success with. I've taken this deck to one regional, I think. And I got 4th place at that regional. The deck is, it's not great now. I mean, it's Salaman great. It's more like Salaman good. It's not the best deck by far, but the fact that you can kind of just compact so many hand traps in there is definitely helpful. We'll obviously get into that as we progress through the deck, but this is what I'm playing right now. I might actually take it to locals this weekend. I'm not sure. I always say I want to take something to locals, and then I switch it up to something different last minute. But we're going to go ahead and hop right into this and show you guys just exactly what I'm playing. So for the styled lineup, we have 2 Foxy and 2 Spinny for our level 3 2-ofs. This is just kind of common. If you want to cut one of these to 1, depending on how you like to play Salad, you can, but I think playing 2 and 2 is pretty good. In addition to that, we have the Gazelle, because Gazelle is Gazelle. I wish the card was back at multiples, but I don't know if we'll ever get the opportunity to see that happen anytime in the future. However, if we do, this deck gets a huge boost in that aspect. Then for the level 4s, 2 Jaguar and 1 Falco. Pretty basic. You don't really need an explanation for this. Jaguar next to Gazelle is probably the best Salaman Gray monster that there is. Then for other Cyberse cards, we have 3 Debug and 3 Exceed. I mean, this is kind of standard. Some people play Buffalo. I think Buffalo is really bad, to be perfectly honest. I think that playing the Exceed and the Debug is better. It just gets you through your searches and gets you through your special summons. And if you're going second, it allows you to OTK, which is pretty important. You don't want to be wasting time in a game currently that's kind of dominated by drawing the game out a little bit, or completely, being locked out by your opponent from being able to play the game. Moving on to the hand traps, though, of course, we have Triple Ash Blossom. Card's just probably the most frequently used hand trap right now. Then we play Ghost Bell for the other Ghost Girl. I think that these are probably the 2 best Ghost Girls to be playing. They're 2 of the best hand traps overall to be playing. The amount of cards that Bell stops is insane. It's such a large number, so definitely consider playing it if you're not already. Then we do play 3 Nibiru. You can obviously change the hand traps however you like, depending on the local that you're playing in or the event that you're playing in general. But I think overall, these are probably the 3 best hand traps to be main decking right now, in that of Nibiru, Bell, and Ash. They just kind of function very well against 99% of the meta. That is the monster lineup, though. We're going to hop on over to the spells now and explore my choices here. So 3 Signet Mining, because search power is very important, so maximizing out your copies of mining typically is pretty important. Gets you to your Gazelle quicker too, which obviously you want to see your Gazelle, but if you're a good enough Salad player, you'll just open it in your opening hand every single time. Then for some Salaman Great cards, I play 2 Will, 1 Circle, and 1 Sanctuary. This is probably the way to go. I was playing 3 Will for a while, and like I was drawing into multiples of it. You don't want to draw into multiples of it. Considering you're playing a lot of 2-ofs anyways in the deck, you can function with the 2-of for Will. So I really like that ratio. Moving on to the other spell cards, though. One of the cards that I think is personally really important in this format is Cosmic Cyclones. This card is insane against Eldritch. It's insane against a lot of other decks too, but overall against Eldritch, this card is the MVP. If you can play it, if your deck supports playing this card, absolutely go for it. It helps you out in the long run, so keep that in mind. Moving on to the other spell cards that we have in here, we have 3 Droplet. This card in this deck is super good, seeing the amount of graveyard functionality that the deck has. This card grants you a lot of access to some graveyard plays. In addition to that, it stops your opponent from locking you with Calamities or locking you with like their Herald, Vanity's Fiend, or Majesty's Fiend, whatever it is, or Ruler, I can't even remember which one it is. It prevents them from locking you with that as well, so playing the Droplet actually helps you out a significantly large amount. Then I play 2 Desires. This is probably the one card that if you want to change it up, you can, but I think that being able to grab 2 more cards off the top of your deck is just ridiculous in this deck. Definitely helps you out a whole lot. Then for the traps, just 1 Rage and 1 Roar. This is kind of standard. They actually aren't that needed at all anymore. I contemplate not playing either of them, but you kind of have to. Moving on to the extra deck, though. We are playing 3 Balinks and 3 Sunlight Wolf for the 3 ofs. This is probably the best way to go. Some people think that cutting Balinks down to 2 is right, which is really weird. I saw a list like that and I almost tore my head off my neck because I didn't understand it. Then for the 2 ofs, we play 2 Helio. Card's just really, really good. Shuffling back row, changing attack stats. That's kind of important. Then we have Splash Mage and Update Jammer for some generic Link 2s. Cards are ridiculously good. Splash Mage gets you some pretty cool combos, and then the Update Jammer itself is inherently ridiculous, being able to create some wonky OTKs for yourself, which is pretty sweet when you can just swing for a ridiculous amount of attack. Then for the Link 3, playing the Transcode. It's just part of the OTK. Nothing else new there. 1 Access Code. Access Code is obviously one of the best Link monsters right now, if not the best Link monster right now. I know that everyone's like, oh, what about Helga Fibrax? Well, sure, but this card just lets you play uninterrupted, which is crazy. And it's huge stats. And in this deck, it can basically just swing for 10,000 life points, which is even better. Then I play 1 Boros. This doesn't come up as often, but I think that it's a good tech in this deck, to be perfectly honest, because there are scenarios where you can make it directly under your center line, and then both extra monster zones are kind of locked out, which is pretty darn good, not gonna lie. Then for some rank 4 Xyz, I just play a Dweller and a Baguska. I don't think you really need anything more than these 2. They function, the way that they're supposed to. It's not something that's required, but it's something that I think is a very strong call to make. That is the extra deck, though. We're going to hop on over to the side deck, which, as I always mention in every single one of my videos, is a work in progress. It's something that is dependent completely on where you're going to play in locals, so please do not take it for granted or, think, oh, this deck isn't going to need a side deck like that. It's completely up to wherever you're playing. Change it up to how you like, because that's what I want you guys to do. I don't want you guys to just copy-paste everything and run with it. Experiment with what I'm playing and then build from there. But anyways, moving on to the side deck, triple Cycle Reader and triple Droll for some more hand traps. If you want to play Skullmeisters or DD Crows, go for it. You don't have to play Cycle Reader. I just think that Drytron is going to be very, very prevalent in this format, so that's my reasoning for the Cycle Reader. And then the Droll is also for Drytron, and it's good against Invoked and Eldritch and other matchups like that. Or not Eldritch, Invoked and Dogmatic, I should say. Stuff like that, Droll is really good against, so keep that in mind. Then my favorite side deck card, Pankratops. Everyone knows it's my favorite side deck card. It's just so good. It's actually, ironically enough, the one card that I contemplate siding out. So if you want to side it out, you can, and play something else, maybe Imperial Order. That would be pretty good. But it's still good to have the Pankratops. Then some more back row removal. Got the Twisters. Twisters is pretty good in this deck, considering, you don't really have to worry that much about discarding cards. It actually benefits you more in the long run, which is pretty cool, not gonna lie. The fact that you can just stop, your opponent's plays and continue yours, if not excel yours. That's really, really cool. Then for some traps for when we go first, we have 3 Gozen and 2 Ice Dragons Prison. This is, in my opinion, very, very important to have some traps in the lineup. And the fact that you have them alongside the Desires in the main deck, you should probably draw one of these most likely, which is even better. The statistics are definitely there to prove that you should see, one of these if you're using Desires too. So keep in mind that this is definitely something to consider. I think that Gozen Match is an underrated card for how, you know, powerful it actually is and the plays you can get off with it. So consider Gozen. Ice Dragon is definitely something you should really think about playing in almost every side deck or main deck, depending on what you're playing. But that is the entirety of the side deck as well, which basically brings us to the end of the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And for right now, this is Team Yugi Phil signing out.